guys, for today's lesson I'm going to be teaching you how to single crochet into just a simple chain. So I have made some little bracelets using this one chain and a single crochet, and I've made a few here as little examples, but this is going to be a really important part for starting off a lot of different things, being able to single crochet into a chain. So what your pattern will say is it will say chain CH about 20, or just depending on your project, and then it will say chain 1 turn single crochet 20, or however much they want you to single crochet. So I'm going to show you how to do that part of your patterns. Now if you don't know how to slip stitch, if you don't know how to do a chain, then I do recommend you watch my videos from the last couple weekends, because last weekend I taught how to do a chain, the weekend before I taught how to slip stitch, and I'm going to fast forward through those parts of my process here, and then I'll slow down and go real time and walk you through how to single crochet into that chain when we get to it. I've done 40 chains, and I wanted to show you what the pattern will kind of look like for when you need to do this. So this example, it says to chain 206 for this blanket. I'm not making a blanket. I'm not going to do chain 206. I just did chain 40. But if you are following a pattern, it will tell you how many to chain depending on what your project is. I'm just making a little brace. Well, it's actually going to be quite a large bracelet. So I'm chaining 40. Now you'll notice the chain is usually one off from being an even number. So this says 206. A lot of times it might say like 36, or you'll get a 41. So something that's like right above something that's in the 5 category, or the tens units. Okay, so I'm going to take mine from 40 to 41. Okay. So that last one is just going to be our side stitch, because we're going to now start crocheting this way. And so we needed this extra. That's why there's always one extra, because that's kind of like this side of it. So we'll fold it basically like we're going to crochet into this second one there. And when we crochet into that second one, notice how that last one, number 41, rolls up on the side. So that's why there's an extra chain, because we need an extra chain so we have something to sit on the side, because we're going to go this direction now. Okay? So like on these, for instance, so this is the single crochet, or this is the chain, and there's one extra chain here at the side, and then I single crocheted in all the rest. So that's why we do an extra chain to be on the side. Okay. And then what it will say is it'll say first row or round, depending if you're crocheting in the rounds or rows. It'll say 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Okay? If we're doing single crochets. SC is single crochet, CH is chain. Okay, and that's why it says that, because it wants you to use that last little chain there as a side. So it will tell you to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So that's our first chain from the hook. That's number 41. So we're going to go into the next one. Okay, so you're just going to go into the top section of it. So this is a stitch right here. These two little guys together is a stitch. I'm going to zoom in and see if I can show you guys even better. So let me point this out. So this here and here. This guy, I call them V's. This is a V. That's one stitch, okay? Right here. That is a chain. It's a specific stitch. It's called a chain stitch. Okay. This is another one. So it takes these two parts to make a chain. So it looks a lot like a braid, right? But I look at it like if it's a V. That's a chain. This is a chain. This is a chain. Each of them have two loops. Loop one, loop two. Top loop, bottom loop. Okay? So this is the first one next to the hook. This is the second one next to the hook. So that's the one we're going to go into. Okay. So to single crochet into a chain, we are going to go into the top loop. Okay. It's not the first top loop because that goes into the first chain. The second top loop we have here. So just go underneath. Yarn over. And I've been told I crochet backwards, by the way. But all my stuff always looks super duper cute. So the way I yarn over, I guess, is different than most people yarn over. But I yarn over like this. And then I turn the hook down. And that way I can really easily pull that little piece of yarn through that top loop of my chain. And now I have two loops on my crochet hook. And that's my first part of my single crochet, or my SC, as the pattern will say. And sorry, we don't really need this thing anymore. I can get rid of that. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to, for the second part of our single crochet, oh no, I messed up my nail polish. We're going to yarn over again, and now we're going to actually pull these through both of our loops. Like that. And that's a single crochet. So you'll notice now, this was our extra chain. This was chain number 41. It's now on the side. And now we have a single crochet stitch right here. So it's also made out of two loops basically, just like our chain, our top loop and our bottom loop. And that's our first single crochet. Now we're going to go into the next chain now. So that's single crochet number 1. We'll be doing 40 total because I did 41 chains. The last one was for the side. So we're going to go into each of these chains. That will give us a total of 40 single crochets. Okay, so let's do it again. So we're going to go underneath this top loop. Okay, sorry, let me back up a little bit. Sometimes it's confusing as a beginner to know the difference between the chain that we just went into and the next chain. So I'm going to try to show you guys. Okay, so a really easy way to find out if it's the chain that we just went into or if it's the next chain is you just pull up your working yarn like that. And then whichever loop is getting pulled, that's the one we just worked into. It's getting pulled because we just put something in it. If it's not really getting pulled, if it's not getting bigger when we do this, that means we haven't touched it yet. Okay, so this one is the one that's being nice and still when we do that. So that's how we know it's the next one. It hasn't been touched yet. If you look really closely, you can tell this one already has yarn going through the chain. So now we're going to put the yarn through this chain here. Right in the middle underneath that top loop. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Single crochet time. Now that we know where we're going, it's the smaller one, right? The smaller hole because nothing's been put in it yet. Okay, so this is how you single crochet. Step 1. Step 1A. Go take your hook underneath the loop, underneath the chain. 1B is yarn over. 1C is to turn your hook down so that way when you pull it through, you're actually pulling it through. And then 1D, I guess, is to actually pull it through the loop like that. And then part 2 of the single crochet, so here's part 2A, is yarn over. Part 2B is to turn your hook down. Part 2C is to pull it through both of the loops. So there you go. We've just made another single crochet. So you can see here's the first one, here's the second one. They both have a top loop and a bottom. 1, 2. Okay, so 1, 2. And again. So we know it's not this one. Obviously that has a huge hole in it because we just single crocheted into it. So we're not going to single crochet into it again. That's called an increase, and I'll teach you that a different weekend. We're going to go into the next one right there. That's what it looks like from the top. So step 1A of single crochet is to put your crochet hook underneath the loop. 1B, yarn over. 1C, twist your hook down. 1D, pull it through, and as you're pulling it through, you're also bringing your hook facing up like that. So it's this sort of motion. So we were here and here. Okay, now part 2A, yarn over. Part 2B, turn your hook down. Part 2C, pull through both of the loops, and that's a single crochet. Let's do it again. 1A, under the loop. 1B, yarn over. 1C, pull through. 2A, yarn over. 2B, turn your hook down. 2C, pull through both loops. Part 1. Part 2. Under the hook, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Under the stitch, yarn over, pull through. The chain, yarn over, pull through both loops. Under the loop, pull through. We're getting our yarn from the back of our artwork to the front. Pull over and go through 2. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That is how you do a single crochet into a chain. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over, pull through the chain. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over, pull through the chain. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over, pull through the chain. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over, pull through the chain. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Go under the loop. Yarn over, pull through the chain. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Under the chain, or through the chain. Yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through both the loops. Under the front loop of the top loop of the chain, yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through both the loops. Go through the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. This is going to get a little curly in here. In fact, this stitch is used to make curls all the time in amigurumi, so it will get very curly on you, and I'm going to show you how to get that curl out, just in case you're not making something curly. But if you're making something curly, then you'll be good to go. Why am I out of focus? Camera, thank you. All right, I'm going to speed through the rest of these. Okay, I am on my 40th stitch here. Here's my last one right here. Now, hello, focus please. All right, this is just the knot. Can you see how teensy weensy these two loops are? That's because that's just our slip knot. Okay, that is a slip knot. We are not crocheting into that. We're gonna single crochet into this last hoop right here. Here we go. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna do this in this lesson. I'm gonna do it next weekend. Next weekend, I'm going to show you how to single crochet into a single crochet. We'll do the next row next weekend. But since we're done with this, we're gonna fasten off. But if you were to add another row to this, do you remember how we added an extra chain to the end over here to be for the side? Well, you have to do that over here too. So you have to do another chain. Enough for today. So if you were to do another row, what you would do here is you would chain like so before you got started on your next row. Okay, and I'll go more into that next weekend. We are going to fasten off. So you do this. I explained this last weekend when we did our chain. But you just pull your loop a little bigger and then give yourself some extra space and trim it like that. And then you find which sides of these loop is the one that moves around. So that one's not moving. That means it's connected to our bracelet or our project. This one is moving. That means it was connected to the ball or the skein of yarn, whatever you're working with. That's the one you pull, and now we're all fastened in here. Okay, now I told you I was going to tell you guys how I flatten these. There is a more complex and professional way to flatten these than what I'm about to tell you, but I'm going to cover that lesson in a different weekend video because I do these on the weekends. This is just a really simple flattening way to do it. Just like a super speedy, quick for a short little lesson like this, a little tiny project. So what I do is I just have a really big book. So a really big book. And I open it to the very end of the book or beginning, whatever, the bottom. So we have one hard cover here. And what I do is I position it so it's like on the corner like this. I've got a little bit hanging over on each end, and then I just close the book and I just wait for like an hour or so. And that's how I got these to be flatter for the bracelets. Now, if we're doing like a more complicated motif, there's a little bit more that goes into it. But again, I'll do a whole lesson on that one week. That's on my list of things I want to teach. So that was the main thing I wanted to teach in this lesson. But I'll go ahead and finish up the bracelet just in case you like this little project that I did with these. I'll show you how I finished them off. Okay, so what I did was I took a needle and I'm just going to hide my threads. So I just thread my needle and I just hide my threads in here, and I just find any sort of stitch that's vertical to stab my needle through. Okay, so here's one that's kind of going up and down. This is basically going up and down. So I'm more working on like the single crochet side versus the chain side because there's just like more room to work in. So I'm just kind of stabbing those into that. And then once I have about that much, about an inch, I just pull it through. And excuse my little boo-boos here. We just had a really dry winter, and I'm still kind of healing from these little rashes I got on my hands because my skin was just so dry. I have problems with dry skin, so sorry about those. They're almost all healed up. So that's the first one, and then I just trim it nice and close. And I do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, I mean, this is a really, you know, like let's say you're doing a dog plushie, you know, for like a little collar for your doggy plushie, or a little teensy weensy bracelet if you're doing like a little doll or anything. She can have a little bracelet. This is cute for like little hair ties for your plushie maybe. Or maybe you even just have like, you know, some like a little one in your life that wants to have a little treat. I mean, like it's not super great because it will get wet if you go to wash your hands, but it's kind of fun to get special little things, especially when you're a little one. It's not super ideal as a bracelet for a person because it's not waterproof, but you can do that for sure. Or maybe you're teaching a little one to crochet. These could be really cute Christmas ornaments too. You can make like little Christmas ornaments with like your little granddaughter or grandson or niece or nephew or son or daughter, little buddy. You could just like put a little hook on this, you know, and that would be, oh, just such a cute little easy project. So good for, you know, adults who kind of want to take crochet further, but also a really cute little project for little ones if it's something you wanted to do with them. Okay. They could, you know, pick out the colors and they would just love that. Okay, so now I just have this nice band, and I'll show you how I, it's really super easy, but I've got my yellow piece of yarn here, and I just tied these with a bow, so they're, you know, you can slip them on depending on how big your hand is, but it's also something that you could make a smaller one and untie it and get someone to tie it on for you. So it's a little bit stiffer. But yeah, I just thread my needle with our alternate thread here, our accent color, and I stick it through from the inside of our bracelet to our outside of our bracelet. So this is like the inside. You pull that through, and then I just thread my needle through the other side of the yarn, and then go through, you know, I just kind of line this up like this to make sure that I'm on the inside and it's not all like twisted around. You know, you don't want to do that. You want to fold it in half and make sure it's all nice and straight, and that will give you the other middle or the other end. You go through the center of that there. And then that's it. Which the longer you let it uncurl for in your big book, the better. But yeah, okay. And then you just tie like that around someone's wrist, or you know, just whatever you feel like decorating. You could keep going with this. In my next weekend, I'm going to do the next single crochet, and we're going to work around. This would be kind of a cute little thing. You could do it with, if it was longer, you could do like a little mug koozie actually too. But anyway, so that's this weekend's little project. Yeah, and next weekend I'll do a lesson on how to single crochet into a single crochet so you can do the next and build upon that. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful to you guys, and I hope you had just so much fun. This is just such a fun little simple project, and I will see you guys next weekend for our next lesson. Bye.